were at the top of your profession, would you risk embarrassment by volunteering to go back to basics? A brave headmistress did it for BBC Two in 1997. This is how it went then and what's happened in the 2 years since.
Benenden, with fees of £15,000 a year, is one of Britain's most expensive public schools.
Lord, give us busy hands, a sense of fun, an understanding.
And Gillian
heart,
Ducharme
peace in
is its
ourselves.
headmistress.
Help
She
us
has
to
spent a
overcome our
lifetime
fears,
teaching the privileged.
to love you more, and always to say the encouraging word.
In 1997, she spent a week teaching in an East London comprehensive, an experience that was to change her life. Over the last 2 years, we have followed as the city children have visited Benenden. And finally, as Gillian returns to Forest Gate again.
That's irresponsible management by the borough.
Oh, you tell me what the number of initiatives that you've got on your desk at the moment. I've got Excellence in Cities.
Thousands.
I've got SRB 5, all of which have come on stream this year.
But first, that original week.
I think it's a very beautiful building, and I like the fact that it's covered in plants and lovely wisteria, which has just finished blooming. And it's a lovely place because you can walk out on, and the children can roll down the hill.
Gillian will be leaving behind her 425 bright girls. They were all selected for their academic ability and expect to achieve 3 good A-levels.
We have a large science department of 7 labs. We have a new-ish swimming pool. I hope that it's a quite zingy atmosphere. We have 17 outdoor tennis courts. We have 2 squash courts. We're not really an ivory tower. That's the library up there. Over there is the computer department. It's just a microcosm of society. It isn't necessarily all that different. Why do I want to go to a comprehensive? Because I'm deeply curious. I really would like to see what their problems are and what their joys are, and I'd like to meet the people, and I'd like to see how it all works, because I don't know.
Gillian doesn't yet know exactly where she is going, but the head of the other school is anticipating her arrival.
I've not really got a mental picture other than she's called Gillian Ducharme, and I haven't met many Ducharmes in my life, so I really don't know. I have no working knowledge of private education whatsoever. I imagine that the head of a private school has got far less direct, hands-on kind of work than I have.
I'm dying to know what they're like. They must be reasonably not hostile, friendly, probably, I should think. Actually, at the moment, because I'm terrified. I sort of wonder how big this school's going to be as well. Whether they've got a nice playground, whether they've got enough space to run about in.
When somebody says head teacher from an independent girls' private school, you kind of think of images of Middle England.
Oh, it looks like some nice little houses on the left with pretty roses in the garden. Look at that. Looks like a nice area, actually. Like people who care for their houses.
The pupils here will punish you if you're not consistent and are not on the ball. And basically, you've got to be a bit streetwise with them.
Forest Gate Community School, it's called. Mr. Richardson. I'd like to see Mr. Richardson if he's available, please. Seems like a school to me. Feels just like a school. Like most schools feel, really. It's got drugs and...
Mrs. Ducharme?
Yes,
would you like to come with me, please?
Thank you very much.
Gillian is going to spend her week teaching English and French as a cover teacher. But first, she's going to meet the head.
How do you do? Nice to meet you, Mr. Richardson. At last.
Anna and Chi-Chi,
Well,
can you remember that?
Pardon?
Can you remember the pandas at London Zoo?
Yes, exactly. Well, I said it was like blind date, a bit, you know.
How sweet.
Thank you very much.
Nice to meet you.
I didn't even know whether you'd be black or white, isn't it? Or Indian.
Bit
or...
red at the moment, aren't
Yeah,
you?
isn't it steaming?
I'd like to think that we were comparable in terms of revenue, but I think probably you've got a slight edge on me. But about you,
I don't know. I don't know how does your... I mean, don't you get an amount per student?
Per student, yes. We've got something less than 2,000. I think it's about £1,500 or £1,600 a student next year.
And so what does that have to pay for?
But we have to pay everything from there.
So what's... That isn't books. It is books.
It is books.
Books.
It's books, equipment,
Consumables like...
absolutely everything. Yes. Well, how much revenue do you get per pupil? How much roughly in fees
Well, our
would it
fees,
cost?
I can tell you our fees. Our fees next year are going to be £4,735 a term. And that does not include books.
Come on, hurry up, gents. Come on in.
Gillian Ducharme's first task is to take assembly.
I feel just like a sacrificial lamb to the slaughter. I'm scared to death now.
No. To the back. To the back.
Good morning, everybody. I wanted to say how nice it is to be with you. The theme which your teacher has chosen is right and wrong, and I hope that you're going to help me a bit with this. Can you give me a few examples? Can anybody give me an example of doing right? Yes?
Being polite.
Being polite, which you are kindly being to me, thank you very much, yes.
I thought she was a nice woman because of her accent. She didn't seem strict, she wasn't very strict. She sounded enthusiastic.
Before her polite ways are tested on a class, Gillian is given a tour by Deputy Head Roger Bannister. She learns that at Forest Gate, with no entrance exam, all local children are welcome, regardless of their ability.
Pritam, you're holding everybody up. Don't start now, OK?
Meanwhile, Simon Gibbons is tackling English Class 9T.
See steam rising off your feet, yeah?
It's this group of 13-year-olds that Gillian will soon be facing.
Here's what's called a quotation quest. Now, we've done these on Romeo and Juliet back at the beginning of the year.
This class is not streamed. At Forest Gate, the English department believes that teaching the cleverest alongside the most difficult gives them all a better chance of doing well.
You read first four.
The biggest challenge is how to make the lessons work for 30 kids who have got enormously different levels of language and ability. You've got to be constantly scanning the class, seeing who's doing what. If I turn around to write on the board, I can never be sure who's going to throw what at whom, you know.
I'm trying to do a lesson in here, and it's not very easy with you lot talking away.
How does this compare? I mean, this is our outdoor PE facilities.
There's no comparison, of course, because it's in the country.
Yeah.
You know, we've got 250 acres of parkland, several lacrosse pitches.
We've got some grass.
Have you?
Yeah, come and have a look at it. Yeah. This is our grassy area.
Yeah, it's not very big.
It's
At one end of the grassy area is 9T's classroom. Gillian slips in to meet Simon.
I mean, can they all write decent English?
No. It would be the simple answer. I mean, the short answer, I mean, there are probably 2 or 3 children in that class who are statemented for special needs.
Right.
One of whose literacy is very, very poor indeed.
Will they all write if I walk round and look at their work as they go along, do you think?
No, they certainly shouldn't riot, no.
She's very much down to earth and not at all pretentious, which is, I'd have thought public school headmistresses were slightly of that ilk.
bit jolly hockey stick.
Perhaps I shouldn't say that a little bit, but I'm sure we'll de-hockey stickify her.
There are 1,000 pupils at Forest Gate, too many to squeeze into the hall. So every day a different year has assembly. Andy Richardson sometimes makes an appearance to remind them all who's boss.
Excellent. Very good to see you.
Will Gillian's good manners have the same effect on 9T?
Sit down, please.
The lessons last an hour. It's a long time for any cover teacher.
Would you please sit down and would you please take your jackets off because you're going to be far too hot otherwise. Okay?
At the back of the class is Mr. Elday.
The boy there.
He is there to give extra help to two of the children.
Okay. I don't know who you are.
I'm a support teacher.
You're a support teacher. How lovely. Good morning.
Gillian has never come across support teachers like this before. The local authority believes that children with reading and behavioural problems should be educated within classes rather than taken out.
Which is you? That's you, right? Be quiet, please. Siddiq?
Yes, miss.
Fahim?
Yes,
Yassar?
yes, sir.
Have you just come in? Okay, there's a seat here free, and there's a seat in the row before last, I think. Conde?
To begin with, Gillian is able to take control.
Ori Moloye, who are you? Orim, okay. You must be Nigerian.
No.
No?
My parents are.
I mean your parents, I don't mean you. They must have come from Nigeria. Okay. Abdullah?
One of Gillian's problems is that she doesn't yet know the individual pupils, the girls on report for misbehaviour, or the kids with behavioural difficulties.
Pritam Singh? Fine. And it says here Maureen. You Maureen? You're Maureen, hi. Okay. This morning, I'll tell you what may I have your complete attention, please? What you need for this class is you need your pen and you need your writing book. So
After 5 minutes, Gillian is beginning to struggle for their complete attention.
the textbook. Page 29. Would you please turn round the girl over there? Excuse me. Could you please turn around? You can't learn if you're going to just turn around and chat all the time, okay? Okay, you found the right... Well, she doesn't... Fine. Have you got your exercise book?
No.
Well, where is it? Well, I'll give you some paper then. Okay, here we go. Have you got a pen? Yes, you have. Great, here we go. Put your name on it. Put the date, please. Where's your exercise book?
I left it right here.
Pardon?
I forgot it.
And you too?
Yes.
Okay.
Outside the class, Simon is watching Gillian's progress.
She got them settled initially, but then there was a bit of disruption going on, a bit of noise, and that she never really sort of clamped down on it or stamped down on it enough.
Sit down. He's not mental. Here you go. Sit down. Here. Okay, could you turn round, please? Does he understand English? Yes, pick your book up. Page 29, please.
Eventually, after 15 minutes, Gillian manages to begin teaching.
No, he's going to read. Nice and loudly for the others this side, thank you.
Alan bounced it a couple of times more, then stopped, jumped, and shot. 2 points. His first shot has gone straight through without touching the rim. Alan threw the ball to him and his father caught it, dribbled once and tried a layup. The ball hit the edge of the rim and bounded across the yard. He threw the ball back to him and his father tried another layup and missed again. It's been a long time since I had one of these in my hands, you know.
Nicholas,
he was breathing heavily as he...
On about hearing, you can hear fine. What's happened to you? You're just going to put something... OK, fine. OK. Now, first thing that happened... Turn round, please. Are you listening to me?
Are you listening to me?
And I'd like you to I'd also like you to put your tie straight, please, and stop chewing gum. OK, because it's not polite to chew in front of people. Now, I want one sentence of the background, anything that happens early in the book. Would you sit down, please? Sit down, please, immediately. Yes. Alan did not want to go to Nashville, is that correct?
Yes, miss, that's correct. Yeah, he did. 100% correct.
Just get your pen out, start writing.
She can't afford in this school to take the kind of approach that you might take at a private school, let's say, where you can probably guarantee all the kids are very able, very hard-working and kind of dedicated. So you probably could stand at the front, they would all take notes. I mean, they just don't have the capability to do that, many kids here.
It's too big. Well, I can't write any smaller, sorry. To Nashville, Tennessee. Well, I am in school, right? I'm going to try and learn. I'm always learning. OK, everybody...
I think they're not necessarily going to come to this school with an expectation that I've got to do well in my GCSEs, that is going to lead me into this college, which is going to lead me into this job.
You didn't live in Forest Gate, where there's loads of people with all different colours.
The white neighbours put their houses up for sale. Who was that? Was that you?
No, it was it.
Oh, just please don't make that loud noise. It's too loud.
It was it.
I found myself nearly getting an edge to my voice that I said I mustn't do, and I found my sense of humour went immediately. I didn't have any sense of humour at all because I thought I've got to keep them in order somehow. Ilana, would you please turn round? Would you move back to your place? I will help you. I thought they'd all riot. I really thought they'd probably riot by the end. OK.
I'm getting fed up now.
Well, I'm going to get fed up with you. Hurry up. Quickly, come on. Here we go. OK, what have you done? Nothing? May I please have the books back before you go? Thank you. Books back, please. Did you give your books in? No, I mean these books. You give it. Thank you very much.
See, I could have kept it, miss.
You could. Could you do your tie up, please? I'm going to pack it in now. Resign forever. Terrible. Terrible. I couldn't cope at all. I mean, there's a huge range of ability from hyperactive to highly intelligent. And I'm sure I haven't got all the books here.
Well, she was quiet. She couldn't control the class. And, well, it was a bit boring. She didn't stimulate us as much.
For one, she didn't listen to us. She had it into her head that she was going to do this, and whatever we said, she put something that she had in her mind up on the board.
Instead of saying, you know, turn around, she'd come up to me, please turn around, Milana, and that kind of didn't make me do what she told me to.
Mr. Gibbons he's a clever teacher. He brings things into it which will relate it to us.
He shouts at them and then they, just shut up and sit down and work. But this teacher, she just asks all the time.
I thought to myself, if I don't get a right here, they'll all jump up and go out and punch me, and those two great big boys in the front, I don't know. I mean, if they go out of the room, I won't be able to stop them. And what will I do? So, luckily for me, they didn't quite go, but exhausting.
Another day, and Gillian is keen to learn how she can teach these children better.
Simply crazy, crazy, and now you're lazy. I love the things you say to me. I like it when you're talking dirty back. Every day you tonight. I got so many things on my mind. I've never seen a lie so.
One of the practices Gillian doesn't fully understand is the role of the support teachers.
To be quite honest, I wonder why he was there, because he didn't seem to be doing anything as far as I could see. What's he there for?
Well, we have two kinds of support teachers. Yeah. A language support teacher generally to work with the whole class.
Right.
He's a special needs teacher who's there purely for one individual in that class.
Wouldn't it be easier if maybe one period a day they had study skills with that chap outside of their general class so that he could go through all of them?
With about a third of the pupils needing extra language teaching, it's difficult for Forest Gate to find the time or the support teachers to deal with all of them. So every morning before school there is a homework club which teacher Rosie Mason volunteers to organise.
I can say, and I do believe, that we can cater for all those individual students. I'm not saying it's not hard. For example, within English, our classes are 30.
Well, I've got mostly sort of 18, 20. It's
right,
not
so
tiny, it's smaller.
That's quite a difference in comparison
the other
to
10
30.
is a lot.
Yeah, cover lessons for anyone can be horrible, and you don't know what's really been left for you, but that's also part of the
Oh yeah, if you're a cover
coping.
teacher, that's your tough luck.
That's part of it.
I realise that. Oh yeah, if you can't cope, it's your tough luck.
Gillian hopes to do better with her French class. Unlike English classes, the French classes are divided by aptitude into sets. Gillian has landed the top one, but it still has a wider range of abilities than her classes in Benenden.
Ok, on va faire exercice 1 maintenant. Les animaux domestiques, s'il vous plaît. Okay, vous avez la liste des animaux domestiques.
Although it seems to be going well, French teacher and deputy head Clarence Benjamin has some advice.
She talked too much. There was an overemphasis on talking on her part.
It was a good lesson. It was much better than our English lesson.
She moves too quick from one subject to another.
What is going to happen in a situation like this is that the kids who are the brighter ones, these are the ones who would give you the feedback.
Yes,
But you need feedback from
the others
every
who don't.
individual
Yes,
in the
absolutely.
class.
After school, the talking continues.
I really
Gillian
don't
doubts
see
the
how
efficiency of using support teachers to try and teach all abilities together.
I mean, they can probably follow the class, but
You can't assume that a child with a statement is going to be unable to achieve something within that classroom.
I'm not, but I'm thinking that it must hold up the bright ones. It's got to.
There's never been any research evidence that's backed that theory up.
Well, I saw it happening the other day. I have to tell you.
Isn't that what distinguishes perhaps and the teacher in a comprehensive school more from the teacher in a public school? Because the essence, I think, of quality teaching is that you are able to meet the needs, the ability needs of any and every child in your class.
But not everybody can actually do that. I mean, so what happens? And I mean, these people who are sitting beside these students, I mean, I don't see anything happening, to be quite honest. I thought it was a waste of time. They're sort of muttering things all the time.
If that's the case, that's ineffective mixed ability teaching. That's not an ineffective system.
Your top and, the end of the scale.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that is real mixed ability. I mean, and
But, I
we
mean, we're
are
not
catering for those needs.
But I think it sounds like sort of an equal rights statement a bit. Nobody's been really very honest with me yet.
I'll be honest with you, we're living in the real world.
So are we, believe it or not.
Well, in a moral world, I would have thought.
Yeah, it's like, in fact, you've got a microcosm of society. You've got 26 countries. You haven't got many more than 26 countries.
But what kind of people come from those countries?
So what? What does it matter what kind of people they are?
Well, it does matter.
No, we're not saying there's anything wrong with it, but if you're representing it as a microcosm of society, you can't if you've only got one section of society.
So you can't claim that it's a microcosm if you're accepting that a huge chunk of dispossessed, if you like, have no place in yours.
But the thing is, money is not the only criterion about society, surely. Oh, hello. How are you?
Plays there to call the names.
Mind out, careful.
Today, the 12-year-olds are excited because they're going swimming.
Well, you can't come in front of me, I'm afraid.
It's a 20-minute walk to their nearest pool.
Where do we cross?
It's a rare
It's probably
event.
better if we cross.
The school only takes them 6 times a year.
23, 24, that's it.
Well done, miss. We're in business. After you.
Wait. You're trying to kick, but you're trying to keep your knees under the water. Gentle, long kick under the water. All right, go. On your back still, not on your front. We're not doing front today, we're doing back. This way. Oh, no, hang on, stop.
As the week goes on, Gillian asks more questions.
With the boys.
She's particularly concerned by Andy's management style and the environment it creates.
This is probably a definitive list now because the resignation date has been passed.
When I saw Andy doing his job, I think he definitely is more autocratic than I am. He's much more riveted to his desk than I am, and I think that actually management by wandering about has to be included these days.
Fully pupilled.
It's no good giving edicts out with a group of teachers like my colleagues. You've got to get it through. Well, you must deal a lot with problems. I mean, how do you spend your day? What do you do?
You can't quantify that.
He just sits here looking magisterial and extremely... But I mean, seriously, what do you do?
I tell you what I don't do is I don't teach.
I know you don't. Why don't you?
I don't teach because my time is far better spent doing things.
Are you sure of
other
that?
than,
Because I would disagree with you completely about that.
Absolutely positive. I haven't got time to teach.
Why not?
It's not because I've got things to do that are more important than being in a classroom.
Like what?
Well,
what's more important in a school than teaching? Tell me.
Like the day-to-day managing of 50-odd teachers.
I've got 50 teachers. I've got 200 employees.
Well, obviously you must be far better.
No, I'm not. I'm not. No, it's not expected of me. I've chosen to do it.
I think too that I'm probably de-skilled in being a teacher.
I bet you're not.
I bet I am.
Where I work, it matters to the teachers and it matters to the children and it matters to the parents a lot that I do that.
She's either a bit nervous and so she talks an awful lot. Yeah, she's fine. She's a nice person.
I mean, I'm trying my best to be nice, but he doesn't expect to be argued with by anybody.
Persistent bad behaviour. Well, that's brilliant, isn't it?
Before Gillian faces English Class 9T for a final time, She goes to get some tips for dealing with the naughties. Senior teacher Paul Bartlett is looking after them in the remove.
Teacher in class and kicking a student then.
I may need to send somebody in
right.
tomorrow.
No, not at all. No, not at all. In there from the start, firing from the hips. You know, when you say breathe, they breathe, and when you say jump, they say how high to you.
Sit down, please, at once. Sit down at once. Sit down at once. Get your bag and sit down. You can't sit there.
He can't sit there.
He cannot sit. Be quiet. Just be quiet. Go and sit in your place, please. Do you want to leave or do you want to stay? Decide now. I mean it. You are going to be here, be quiet and work, or you are not going to. And stop being so silly. OK, fine. Get your pencil out, get your paper out, get your book out, and stop looking at me as if I'm inventing something. Pritam, go and sit down, please.
Yeah.
Here's a book. OK, sit down. Here you go. Here's a book. You go and sit here today. OK? You either sit down and do your work, or I'm sending you out. OK? I think that it would be easier if the classes were smaller.
I said 1 minute.
No minute at all. If you're teaching people of a very wide range of abilities, you need to have an equally wide repertoire of teaching skills. And so if you haven't been teaching that wide a range, you haven't had practice on some of your teaching skills because you haven't needed it. Here's a book for you, here's a book for you. So I think that's been what I've learned. Be quiet, please. Rilana, shut up. Give me another 2 days. I could get enough of them in my pocket so I could do all right. I like them a lot, the kids. Some of them were hard to deal with, but I like them. And it doesn't hurt anybody to have their abilities questioned. It revived me a lot because you can get very used to what you're doing and the routine of it. And you need to fail sometimes as well. It seemed so incredibly green. It wasn't really a relief to get out of Forest Gate. I was rather sad, actually. It must be really hard to do the job on £1,400 per capita a year. You're not going to have the same opportunities that the Benenden girls have. It must be a real struggle. But even if it meant paying more taxes, I think a lot of people would be willing if they got a good educational system. I have 2 things I have to have. Hang on. I've got to go.
She's done well. I don't think I'll be employing her on a full-time basis, however.
It just made me think about what I'm doing, whether I want to do it, which kind of children, you know, where do I want to teach. Who deserves to be educated and what does everybody deserve? It's made me think that everybody, which I already did, that everybody deserves a chance and what should I do to help that?
Nine months later, Gillian invites 9T and their teachers to Benenden.
I'd like to try the swimming pool and all their like tennis courts and stuff. It would be nice to see what they're like, how they are different to us.
The girls will definitely be different, yeah, because it's a different lifestyle.
When I first saw it, I thought, oh my God, that was my first reaction. I didn't know what to think. It was so big. We didn't even see the building. It was massive. We were so shocked.
You get lost down here. Stop this. Okay.
At first we thought it was haunted. It really looked haunted because it's so old and ancient.
Yeah, I know. I'm going to take them to prayers after.
Hello. How are you? Nice to see you. Very well, nice to see you. Now, they'll introduce themselves. Okay?
Hi, I'm Kate.
Hello.
Hi.
How are you? Fine. Morning, Ben.
She invites Andy down to try to get him teaching again.
You can do it. You've got to do it. It's your turn.
I really don't know what I'm doing.
Oh, it doesn't matter. They're very nice children.
Can you get bags out there? Do you want to leave all your books just outside here and then you can make them up
Microcosm of a very privileged end of society. I think it's pretty cosmic rather than microcosmic. I think it's cosmic, all right, yes. And yes, if the foyer at Forest Gate were a little like this, perhaps we'd attract more custom. Beautiful.
Andy is about to try his hand teaching the lower fifth.
Don't think I'll have to play the heavy particularly. I'd like to play the nice guy for a while. Not the autocrat, the nice guy.
But he's a highly intelligent person, so I'm sure he'll manage. But whether they'll enjoy it is a different matter.
If you think I'm scared, you're exactly right. Where's my bit of paper? I don't know where the hell I put my lesson notes.
Unfortunately, Andy discovers he's lost his teaching notes.
Are my notes at the bottom of that? Not are they? Damn good start, isn't it? And all that hustle and bustle, I left my lesson up there. Could you give those out, please? Just. Have a look at page 30, will you? 30. Yeah.
Well, you can't just go in 35 minutes and expect to, conquer the world. I think he's probably getting through it.
What have you got now? What have you got next?
But he's not having any discipline problems like I did.
I'm just copying.
I don't understand this.
I'm just copying.
You do? You do understand
Yeah, I
it?
think it is. Not really. Well, I understand what I'm doing, but...
Don't understand the purpose of it.
As Andy grasps for old skills, his students grapple with a new one, lacrosse.
It's different. I never played it before. I think I was coping all right. I got the hang of it after a while.
So do you reckon it's a mother and daughter conversation, right? Okay. What about that last line there? There's a line there.
How could such a great woman have come out of me?
Yeah.
Could not be her real father.
Excellent. Excellent. To teach in a school like this must be ever so good. Purely from a sense of having lots of resources and some very compliant and bright pupils. Stimulating way. Looking what is being said and teasing out conclusions, as you have to do in all kinds of script. Certainly in Shakespeare. Does the bell ring? Oh God, we would have been here for ages. Bye.
Bye.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
It would have been better had I got my lesson notes and everything prepared when I let somebody just pick them up, and when I looked to the bottom of the papers, there was like nothing there. Nothing.
He did very well for improvising, and I was quite impressed with that side of it.
He had a different way of teaching, or where people at this school teach.
Sort of on our level, sort of, acting as one of us almost, in a way.
Yeah, I mean, I said to him, I don't understand, and he explained it to me, and afterwards I thought, yeah, okay, he's a good teacher.
How many of these things do you get through a day?
26,000, 28,000. But we have a different bun each day.
Ah!
One day it's ice buns, jam donuts, ring donuts, apple donuts, depending what they want.
Going to Benenden helped me to see what is out there, how much they have, a lot of them, and that I can have that if I try to work hard enough, that I can own houses in all these different islands and countries. I can do that if I worked hard enough and did, really well.
Many of the girls come from like Bermuda, Italy. It's definitely got a wide range of people, but I just feel that to be a microcosm of society, you've really got to have people from the whole spectrum, lots of different attitudes, different religions, different races. I can see what she's saying, but from my personal opinion, it's not a microcosm society because it doesn't have the element of people like us. It doesn't have young people from poorer backgrounds, from working class backgrounds.
I want to watch that. It's 3 hours long. Don't wear any mascara. Don't wear
They're nothing like I thought they would be.
They were very kind and helpful. They helped us through the lessons and stuff.
We aren't much different from them. That's the thing, actually.
I think it's a very good school, but I do need my home comforts. So I said, I'll miss my mummy. No, I wouldn't like to come here.
It doesn't sound conceited, but I think I could probably make a fist of being head of Benenden for a term. I'm not sure whether Gillian could make a fist of being head at Forest Gate for a term.
Since then, Gillian's girls have visited the comprehensive, and more Forest Gate pupils have visited Benenden, culminating in a one-week revision course for 22 of them this Easter.
That was a pretty successful week, I thought. Take, for example, the concept prep time. They didn't know what it meant, before going to Benenden. And it is that kind of obligation, it's that kind of self-discipline which takes them through to A-levels and through university. I think if I can say to you that our students have learnt that, I would believe I'm speaking the truth.
I aspire for that, a taste of that for all of our youngsters at Forest Gate, but I know it's not possible.
Finally, Gillian returns to Forest Gate to see how Andy and the students have changed.
I can't think about education and children anymore without putting the Forest Gate children and the Benenden children in the same equation. In other words, I think about both instead of just thinking about one. I'm not as terrified now, but I'm still a bit scared, partly because I think there are some scores we haven't settled, Andy and I. I've got butterflies now, wow-wee! My favourite books. Somebody likes Of Mice and Men. Good morning. Nice to see you, Andy. You all right?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Good.
We have to make our own tea. We've got Earl Grey.
Oh, thanks.
Yes.
I like Earl Grey. Yeah. I do coffee at Benenden, but I don't make it myself. Actually.
Sorry, there are no buns here and things,
I don't
and
want
biscuits
buns, thank you.
and bread and jam.
Oh, be quiet.
Every time the bell rings, out go buns and...
Only once every morning.
Only
No,
once,
in the
only
afternoon
one.
there's tea.
Okay, that's
Cake.
twice, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Well, they could be so happy if you got them a few buns for break.
I should try that then. I should try the bun technique.
Do.
Might boost educational achievement. I had no problem with them going to see your school. It's lovely. I bared myself to it. So one of the things that I really thought might happen is that when we brought our kids down, we'd be patronised. I told her that.
You did say that.
And nothing could have been further from the truth. Don't know how many times I've been there.
Yeah, you're jolly much less hostile than you were, Andy, since you've been there, I have to tell you. It's a relief. Why do you think I invited you there, partly?
I was never hostile, Gillian. It's all in your head. What do we disagree on? Not very much, surely.
Well, I mean, I disagree with you still if you have those support teachers that don't appear to do anything much.
Recently, we've devised a blueprint for a more focused delivery of support. I think that's...
Which seems to me what you need.
It may be your gentle criticism and chiding.
It wasn't very gentle, I remember at the time. Sorry about that. What about you and the teaching?
I'm more driven behind my desk because I've got more deadlines to... I mean, I've cleared... Look at my desk today. It's particularly clear because underneath it is a huge pile of papers.
I can see a few, Andy. Yeah. Not a lot, but I can see a few.
The other ones are behind there in the in tray.
I believe you. That's why I work in the independent sector.
Ben has been struggling to raise money to send more Forest Gate students to Benenden next year. And he's just got some good news.
Oh, is she going to give us the money?
So you could tell him yes.
Some of Andy's wishes have come true. He's fought for and won millions to improve his school.
Really good match.
You know those mobile classrooms you're in?
Yes.
They're all coming down.
Wonderful. Oh, it's huge. What is it?
Technology room, mate, this one.
That's
and an assembly hall will be built probably on the end of this building, yeah.
Andy's students have been doing well too.
But we have this Panda report every year.
How did it do?
Compared with schools with a similar intake, we did very well.
Jolly good, that's wonderful.
We got A star.
Bravo.
Yeah. GCE results have gone up. I don't think there have been any massive changes at Forest Gate which have been engendered by the contact with Benenden. Isn't it? But I think some good things have come out of that, more on an individual than a collective basis. We're looking at cohort who went to Benenden. Just the effect on me personally has been I think probably to be a little bit less strident.
I just don't agree with some of the things you say.
But there's one thing that Gillian remains strident about. Andy teaching.
Why do I need to change? I don't need to change. I'm too long in the tooth, thanks.
I don't believe you're ever too long in the tooth to change anybody. I believe you can... I mean, I believe that's what life's about. It's about constantly trying to improve and change.
Have you played?
The
battle continues on the school's new AstroTurf.
Ball, I can't bowl. I can only bat.
Okay,
I
but will you give Mr. Ducharme?
Especially with high heels.
Yes.
Oh, help. Always Googlers at this school. Oh, yes, 4. Hooray. Whoa! I can't believe it. I cannot believe you caught that. Lucky dog. I think this AstroTurf is wonderful, and I think it's really wonderful for the kids to have such a good place to play. Oh, very good, Andy. I'm really disappointed he hasn't changed his attitude about teaching. Ooh, ooh. He's quite good at cricket, though. Oh, he was out! He's not going to change it.
It's a puerile argument, really. I don't know the kids any good. I don't know the kids any justice whatsoever by saying I'm going to commit myself to teach 3 lessons of English a week and then teach one of them because I'm pulled out of the building to do something else.
Yeah, but
it's just a nonsense argument.
Surely those meetings must be scheduled ahead. I mean, you
No.
can't tell me they suddenly appear.
When things come, when things, you don't understand this, do you? When things come on stream during a particular year.
Yeah.
Then there is then an agenda set round them. Now, the number of things that have been thrown at our authority this year have been legion.
I mean, suddenly coming on stream, it doesn't make any sense to me.
It's gotta come on
That's
stream.
not good planning. That's typical of some bad planning, is my view.
It's the same in every state school. It's not.
Does that please you?
It's just about the way it operates.
Well, I believe
and that's
you,
the way
Andy.
it
I'm
is.
just shocked.
Well, that's
all.
Because
I'm absolutely amazed. Because it must be very, very disruptive for you. It must be that you're always jumping.
But that's the reason. That's the reason why I said I didn't teach. And I've made this argument 100 times before.
No, but you haven't listened to my replies, really.
Yes, I have.
The fact is, if you teach, you tend to know more of the children. They treat you differently. Hang on,
no, wait a minute. No, wait a minute. You know 30 of them. You don't.
I know 454 of them actually.
Well, there are 1,050.
Well, you've just got to work doubly hard to learn the names of 1,000 of them. The fact is,
the youngsters here didn't seem to not to know me.
they sort of know you. Yeah.
They've seen this
But
sort
do you know
of them.
about them?
Yes,
do you know
I know.
about them? Well, good.
Yeah.
But the thing
Mr. Joshi, is your dad bringing his space cruiser on Monday?
Oh, please.
Right. and who's going with you?
Mr. Richardson.
Head teacher because he likes cricket.
He likes going out.
Yeah, he's having another day off.
Finally, it's time for Gillian to face her demon. Class 9T.
I entered a realm of despair the evening after I tried to teach them. It was awful. I just was completely in pieces, I remember. And I suppose because it was unfinished business, I kept in touch.
We're a lot older. We're a lot more. We've got a lot more morals. We're more adults. We're young adults now.
It's the end of term. For these students, it's their last time together in Forest Gate before they go on to sixth form colleges.
Oh, hi. Oh, it's a bit warm. How are you? Still here 2 years later. Where's your friend? I don't remember. Yes, him. He was over there. Yes, I remember him, definitely.
He's left.
He's left. That's why he's not here. How's it? Oh, Matthew, how are you? Rilana, you got here. Rilana, do you remember last time you were ghastly to me? And I was not very nice to you, probably.
I think it's because I thought you were of a higher class, upper class, and you might look down upon us, so I didn't want to give you the opportunity to. You might see us as just, a couple of poor kids.
All right, Matthew? Oh, it was awful, wasn't it? It was awful, miss. I did my best.
Yeah, you did your best.
But you'd pick yourself up and you start again, and I thought I didn't like to be beat, though.
When I got to know you, it was different.
The relationship's been built. It's sort of like we've grown with each other, sort of thing.
What about, Mr. Richardson, he does not teach, as you know. Would you get to know him better, and would it help if he did?
I think we gained a lot more respect for him if he did.
No, but it could not.
Because at the moment you never see him around the school. You maybe see him once a year in an assembly.
Yeah, but
and so I think it'd be better if people could get to know him, and they could feel they could approach him as well.
if he
Yeah,
was
but
teaching.
the thing is, because people don't know him, they have a kind of respect for him because they don't know what he's like or what he's capable of, so they don't know him well enough.
If he came into the lessons and he was good at what he did, that would build up sort of like the respect for him.
We kind of would test the waters a little bit.
Well,
With
you
Mr.
did it with
Richardson.
me.
No, I
You
just, went
straight in, didn't you?
No, I did. I started talking and you told me to shut up and I didn't listen, and I didn't get into trouble, so I continued.
Right, if I'd have told you to shut up and sent you out, would it have helped?
I
don't think so.
Nah, I'm quite persistent.
I just don't, yeah. So what are you going to do after you've done college? Are you clear what you're going to do that year? You're going to do university? University?
Yeah.
You're going to have to work hard, you realise that? It's going to be a slog. What about you, Rilana? You're going to
university?
Yeah, I should hope so, Rilana. Must be very cross if you don't think.
Oxford, maybe Cambridge.
You've got to get 3 A's. 3 A's for Oxbridge. Why not?
I think the very positive experience has come out of this. The students have come to me to say thank you very much for that experience. And they're telling me that they are now much more positive, much more encouraged to go to universities, the best universities if possible. In fact, one of them has made me a promise. I won't disappoint you. I will endeavor to go to the best university I can, and I will work. Now, I think that is a great achievement as far as I'm concerned, and I feel good about it.
And I wish you all the very best of luck, and as I say, thank you very, very, very much. And I know it's hot in here. Thank you. I think I maybe have beaten the demon slightly. Just slightly. That I couldn't deal with those children. I think maybe I can now.
Gillian retires in July 2000, and I'm going to say to her before she leaves today that I reckon she could have a supply job here anytime she likes, maybe a bit longer. I will miss her greatly.
I'm going to cry. I'm going to cry. It's just widened my perspective.
She would actually survive on a long-term basis. She has got those kind of skills, and she's pretty down to earth. Yeah, I like her. I think she's fine.
Oh. Riches you can take away from people, education you can't. I'm not completely satisfied with how I do it. I'd like to do it better. I think about it a lot, but I want to do something where I don't have to have quite such a almost army discipline, which I do have to at the moment in order to head a boarding school.
I wish her well when she leaves Benenden.
Given that lots of countries have electricity and they don't have paper, you could do education online. And I've got a project that I'm trying to do.
You've got to keep in touch.
Yeah.
Bye, love.
Bye, Andy.
We'll have to convince the new head that Forest Gate's got something to offer Benenden as well as the other way around, which it has, clearly.
You're really grateful? No, you're not.
No, of course I
You'll
am.
argue with me for the rest of my life.
Don't be silly. Don't be silly. I wouldn't do that.
Anyway, have a lovely summer.
Well, I think that when we retire next year from Benenden and start looking for other things to do, if you've got a bit, withdrawal symptoms, give us a phone and I'll stitch you up right.
You wouldn't employ me, would you?
I might well do.
Wow, you must be desperate. Thanks, though. That's a great compliment coming from you. Take care. Bye.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye, girl. Bye. Oh, I've got my own.
Who wants to play tennis?
It wasn't that I didn't like them, they didn't like me, was the problem.
Low, caught again.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. Hey, welcome to the show. How would you feel if the person you gave your heart to